What's going on, everyone? Kurt Widener here in the Team Animal Training Compound, and today we're going to do another product review. But today's product review is going to be done by Dave Capwell, my brother-in-law. Dave kind of went into this whole project, this home gym project with me, and there were certain pieces of equipment that he picked out, so I'm going to give him the opportunity to talk to you about one of those pieces today and kind of, why he wanted it. So go ahead, Dave.
Hello, thanks for having me on. I'm usually the guy behind the camera, so I'll wing it today. When Kurt came up with his vision for a gym, I was all in, and he had everything that he wanted, and Kurt is a professional bodybuilder, a champion professional bodybuilder, and I, on the other hand, am a power lifter. I will be competing again, I think, this fall.
I should add, Dave was a hell of a power lifter back in the day. You competed for, what, 7 years?
Yeah.
What were the totals you had, Dave, in your best meet?
Well, I was a 220. I guess in a meet, my best squat was a 640, my best bench was a 410, and my best deadlift was 600.
But didn't you double 685 in the gym on a squat?
Yeah, that was a good day. I pulled a groin muscle, and that was what killed it. But I had a 705 single and a 685 preceding double before I hit that single. So gym lifts are always better than meat lifts, but meat lifts are what count.
some solid ass numbers for sure, and some that I can't touch. I know that much. And the fact that you're still going at how old are you now, Dave?
I'll be 55 in 3 weeks.
And what are you benching nowadays?
I don't know. I've kind of changed my philosophy. I don't know if I can hit over 400, but probably 375 max right now. So
pretty damn impressive. So anyway, back to the review on the bench here.
So obviously with powerlifting, one of the main lifts is benching. And when Kurt decided to build this beautiful facility, I was chomping at the bit as to what I could do to help him out. And I just felt like there were a couple things I could add that would round out the whole gym and make it a good experience for anyone doing anything in here. And obviously having a solid bench was an important idea that I had. And we'd come from Anytime Fitness, which had a practice of inserting benches into squat racks that were loose on the floor, and I always missed the solid one for all bench that had a fixed pad on it. So I went no further than to look at Rogue for their options, and obviously the premier powerlifting line of equipment and most advanced types of equipment came from Louis Simmons at Westside Barbell, which Rogue has an agreement with to process his ideas and make these pieces of equipment. So there were two options to look at. One of them was the Monster Series bench, which had the 1 inch. I think what are the dimensions of the Monster?
Monster's 3x3, I believe.
3x3.
And the Infinity's 2x3, I think.
Right, and that's what this is. This is based on the Infinity. The first one was the Monster one. It's a lot more expensive, and then there's the basic Westside, which is on the Infinity series, which Rogue no longer makes. I was wavering between the two. However, the thing that I liked about the Infinity series was that the hole spacings on the rack were 1 inch, which I felt was really important to micro tune where you wanted. The Monster series had larger gaps to where you could put your J cups, and sometimes I think for benching and lift-offs, depending on the height, it was a lot easier to micro tune the where you take your lift-offs from. So that was the main thing. The other thing that the higher-end machine had, or a bench had, was they had these belts. Well, these belts right here weren't part of the Infinity series bench. The nice thing about the Infinity series is while Rogue no longer makes it, Titan, which is a competitor, makes equipment that's compatible. So I opted to go with the Infinity series Westside bench, and I eventually got what I wanted, which were the Titan straps, which fit perfectly into this. And that adds a nice feature because the straps make it so your bar doesn't bounce on the pin and pipe settings like this. And it's a lot more forgiving, and you won't have any kind of bounce on that bench that'll screw up your elbow like I had several years ago when I detached my tricep, having that happen. So The other thing that I like about this bench is it's got the spotter decks on here. Those are optional. They're diamond plated. They're solid as can be. It's great to stand over a person when you're giving them liftoffs and spotting them, rather than having your arms hang out in front of you. You have a lot better position and leverage to really help a person get a good spot. The other big thing that I wanted for this bench was this bad boy, which is the Thompson Fat Pad. And Rogue makes, it's named after Donnie Thompson, who was the first guy to total 3,000 in a powerlifting meet. And he's come up with some great innovations with equipment. And one of them is this fat pad, which I believe is about two and a half inches wider this way, and it's thicker. It's great for supporting your shoulders, so you have no shoulder hang over the edges of the bench. And it's just as solid can be, as solid can be. And it's, to me, was essential. What I did do when I ordered it, I did not have the fat pad, wasn't available. I had to order it separately. So I got the regular Rogue pad that came on it, which is a lot thinner. And what I did was I converted them into, and I think Kurt showed this previously, kind of made my own, basically using Elite FTS's, they're selling benches with these in it. So I figured let's make our own here.
This is pretty freaking awesome. This is some freaking MacGyver shit right here. Take a spare pad and turn it into two insertments that lock in for a floor press.
So basically what you can do is,
let me back up here so I can
lay down, put your feet up on the bench, or do a Larson like that.
Let me show from over here.
Basically shows you your arms don't go down, floor press on the same bench. So it came in handy to use the old pad. So if you're looking at replacing it with a Thompson pad, keep the old pad, just get a couple 2x4s, cut it, the other pad in half, and then use it like this. So kind of worked out.
Yeah, it took what, maybe half a day to make, would you say?
Yeah, just had to make sure the measurements, because I wanted it level. That was the key thing. I wanted it so the pad was level with this pad, and it all worked out really well. Matter of fact, that's a testament to how well built this is. Everything is level and in place on it. There's no weird angles or anything.
How about the installation, actually putting it together?
What
the bench itself?
I think you and I think we did it in probably about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, these things are a beast. It's not the monster, but it still takes some time to put it together. But I mean, look at this thing. It's not moving. And you know, we do all kinds of stuff on this. Kurt uses his kabuki bar on it. My 12-year-old daughter benches. That's why the settings are lower. We can you got pegs. It comes with these band pegs. You can hook them any way you want. That's one criticism I have. I like having these band pegs, but the only thing I don't like about it is when you loop the bands over, there's not a lot of tension at the bottom. The band, it depends on which way the pegs are. If they're like this, they can slide off. You don't really want a whole lot of tension on one side and not on the other. A cotter pin or something that just keeps it in place.
Yeah, I think this is something we were talking about in regards to not just this particular piece of equipment, but band pegs in general. I think there's kind of two features that would be beneficial. When one would be something that actually, once you put it in there, it keeps it locked in so it can't slide out, like a cotter pin or even some type of locking pin where, you know, once it goes through, it locks in. But the other thing is that bands I've seen slip off the end of, and I've even had it happen during squats, slip off the end of the peg, and so it's like it'd be nice if they could design something to prevent that, just as a safety measure. It can be kind of scary if you're in the middle of a free weight squat or bench and then you have 100 pounds of band tension loosen up.
Yeah, it's and of course this is all over your face, so you don't want that to happen. Which one of the things that did come, the base does come with, are the pin and pipe system. As I said, I went to Titan and found a comparable that matches the Infinity series in those straps. So those are really nice for doing things. like Kurt has with his PR 5000 rack, those straps just, it doesn't create a bouncing effect, and I love that of it. One thing about it with the pin and pipe, which are the pins, and it comes with these steel pipes. These things are great, but if your bar hits it hard enough, it will bounce if there's not a lot of clearance. Not to mention, it will scuff up your bars knurling because it is steel. One little thing that I did, I bought a pool noodle, and basically, pool noodle worked perfectly. We just put some tape around it to make it look like the way the gym color is. But this actually provides a lot better cushion and less, bouncing. We will use these from time to time on doing heavy lockouts, but most of all, this is just basically the standard, because the only thing you really want is you want your throat protected when benching. One of the other things we did, just the Monster series has the rack holes numbered, just like the PR 5000 rack over there. This is just about 40 holes. So in order to, by sight, determine how we wanted to, this is the normal for Kurt and I. We marked it in red, and for the younger ones that come in here, we mark this in yellow, so that way they know where to rack it by sight without having to count and do anything, or have them accidentally offset. I guess there's one other thing that you have an option. You can get the sandwich cups, which come on the Monster version of this. I didn't like the sandwich cups because what bothers me, I tend to throw my bar back when I'm done after locking out, throw it back. The sandwich cups have a little bit of a rubbery kind of, they're great on your bars, but I didn't want anything bouncing back. I want it to stay in the rack. So these standard J cups I felt were preferable for basically making sure that the bar stayed in place.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but if that's the same as like the sandwich cups that we have on the PR 5000 over there, the other issue with them is that they have so much grip. If you're trying to shift the bar from left to right before you start your lift, in order to get if it's off center, and let's say it's further to the right than it is left, and you're trying to move it back to left, that bar does not want to move on that rubber. It just grabs the shit out of it and won't move. So I mean, with this, it definitely it shifts a lot better.
And I have this on the different setting here, but so you can.
So that's something to consider when you're picking out J cups in general. This bar will slide back and forth on it really easily. If you look at the here's the sandwich cups over here, and this material here, the bar grabs the hell out of it. And sometimes when I'm going to do a squat or something on there, Dave's going to put this up here, and we'll show you.
This is not a heavily knurled bar either.
Yeah, you can see how much it grabs, and it doesn't want to slide. So if your bar is not perfectly centered, and you're going to recenter it before you start your lift, it's a bit of a pain in the ass.
Especially when there's weight on it, and it's like this, even when there's no weight.
Yeah, so you can imagine if you got 300 pounds on there or something, and you're trying to, move that. That is one of the negative features of the sandwich cups. So, sandwich J cups, that is. Sandwiches.
So basically, honestly, I think this was it was not as expensive as the higher end. Titan makes a version of it. That's your call on that. I don't think you can go wrong with this. I think this is one of the best benches I've ever used, and I've lifted in plenty of competitions. This is just a great all-around bench. It can do anything you want it to do. And I really think that it's versatile. It's affordable. If you want to have a high-end piece of equipment in there, I think the Rogue Westside, based on the Infinity series, is a better choice than the Monster. The Monster is very flashy. It's huge. It's like a squat rack in and of itself, just for benching. But I don't think it has the same abilities that this one has to micro tune, because benching is a very you want to make sure your rack heights are right, and where your cups are, and I just think this does it all. So I'm glad Kurt allowed me to get this for the gym. I think he appreciates having it in here, and hopefully we'll get his bench up to 400 or 500 before the year's over.
Yeah, maybe in the next lifetime. So yeah, and I'll just add that, you know, well, I'm not a big bencher. I never really have been a big bencher, but I definitely can appreciate this bench. There is a stability factor in this that if you've never used a standalone bench like this, it is just you got to use it to realize how much more superior it is to other benches. I mean, especially coming from a gym where, again, like Dave mentioned, we were, you know, putting a bench in a squat rack to bench. It's really just, it's not the same. I mean, this is just it's a much better feel. It's much sturdier. So,
and definitely consider getting the Thompson Fat Pad. That just does wonders for it. You'll never go back.
So, anything else you want to add, Dave? Or
nope. I just think it's a good purchase, and if you want a really solid bench, I think Rogue pretty much is the leader on the market for providing quality all-in-one bench.
Agreed. Well, I appreciate the in-depth review, and thanks to all of our subscribers and viewers. You know, hope you find this review of the Rogue Westside Bench helpful. Remember to subscribe if you have any questions. If there's anything that you want to see in any of the videos that we do, please let us know. Comment below. Send me a message. Until next time, have a great day, guys. Thanks again, Dave. Out.
Bitch on.